It was exactly 6 months ago when Wayne LaPierre took to the podium and laid the blame for the Sandy Hook shooting exactly where it deserved to be laid, Hollywood.
We have blood-soaked films out there like American Psycho, Natural Born Killers, that are aired like propaganda loops on splatter days. And then they all have the nerve to call it entertainment. But is that what it really is? Isn't fantasizing about killing people as a way to get your kicks really the filthiest form of pornography?
No, making it easier for criminally insane people and criminals to kill people is insane. How dare they call it entertainment? What they really should be calling it is cool. At least according to the American Rifleman, the NRA's flagship publication, which just released its top 10 coolest gun movies, a list that was later tweeted out by the NRA. Because like Charlton Heston said, I'll give you my gun movies when you pry them from my cold, awesome hands. For more, I'm pleased to be joined by my panel of non-experts, Editor-in-Chief of TheContributor.com, Tina Dupuy, comedian Harrison Greenbaum, and comedian, writer, and on-air correspondent for the FX series Totally Biased with W. Kamau Bell, Janine Brito. Thank you all. Welcome back, and thanks for being here tonight. Before we get to the actual list, do you think the NRA and Wayne LaPierre care about how bad this looks? He comes out and blames the Sandy Hook shooting not on the incredibly easy access to weapons for the criminally insane and douchebag monster criminals, but on Hollywood. And now decrying movie violence one day and celebrating how cool it is another. Tina?
Well, he still is apparently against violent video games.
Yes.
So he's at least a little consistent.
Of course.
So, I mean, we got to give him credit.
I don't give him any credit. I mean, you can't decry that, you can't blame Hollywood, but then have a spokesperson who was Charlton Heston for 5 years. He is Hollywood. He was clearly a Hollywood player. That's pretty hypocritical. If you're so against it, why would you make him your spokesperson and president?
Heston would never do a violent film.
No,
it's like saying Bruce Willis or Chuck Norris would.
Yeah.
I mean, Janine, I know that whenever Wayne LaPierre talks about personal responsibility, an angel coughs up blood. But all of our allies have these same violent movies. They have tougher gun laws. So, you know, where does he get off doing any of this?
I mean, where does he get off doing any of the things he did? After Sandy Hook, they had Youth Day, and they had cricket guns for kids. Crazy is their bread and butter. The only thing that would be crazier is if he actually started going back to 1999 LaPierre and supporting gun control.
When he supported background checks, you're exactly right. Okay, on the actual list, it's really a fun list because half of them are good movies. It's not all crap. According to American Rifleman, the coolest gun movies, and by the way, this is not a poll, it's just some unnamed guy made this list up. There's no author given. So the coolest gun movies in no particular order are Red Dawn, the 1984 version, which Wayne LaPierre thinks is a documentary, the original Terminator, starring a Republican, The Alamo, again the original with John Wayne as Davy Crockett, not a good film. The first Die Hard, that's good. The first Godfather, featuring criminals using illegal guns. Zombieland, The Matrix, The Delta Force, starring Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin and Hannah Shigula as the angry stewardess. The Road Warrior, a post-apocalyptic film that they also think is a documentary. And Tremors. So how did they do with this list? Any surprises?
Well, Bambi wasn't there, so they're really not into hunting.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, these are hunters and sportsmen.
Yeah, no, I mean, they really missed an opportunity there. I mean, they're trying to fetishize guns. I mean, that's the bottom line. They're trying to make guns look cool. I mean, it would be like if Big Tobacco came out and had their top 10 smoking films, or if Planned Parenthood came out with their top 10 clinic films. I mean, it's trying to, you know, they're not there for individual rights. They're there for gun manufacturers to make more money selling more guns.
But look at the list. There's a very clear theme with all 10 of those movies. First of all, none of those movies are true. The Alamo is the closest thing to a historical movie, and the historians themselves, who were the advisors on the movie, had their name taken off the movie because it was such a departure from fact. So
that is true. John Wayne took over the script.
Yeah, it's 10 movies, none of them real. So if you really, you can't find one movie about a real life event where a gun was useful.
How about one good John Wayne movie? Except the Searchers is kind of anti-violence.
Yeah. But I mean, it is like the penthouse letters of gun movies. You know, like, oh, you'll never believe what happened. You got it.
It is like a Spike TV
thing. It's like this list and then Swamp Thing.
Well, when you actually read the list, what's actually interesting about it, and some would say fun, is that it tells you what are the specific guns used in the specific scenes that you can buy, like when Neo and Trinity kill all that cops, because how much fun does that look? The one that made the least sense to me was Tremors, because I thought that was about big phallic things right below the surface, and I always thought of The Matrix as more of a martial arts film. Do any of these films not fit on this list
Well,
for you?
I was confused about Tremors, because I thought, you know, they're saying, you know, as a sort of an anti-gun control movie is this movie where these like penis monsters attack you. I feel like that's more of like an anti-gay marriage movie, honestly.
Yeah, but in that film, the crazy gun nut winds up being the hero because he has a stockpile and an arsenal.
And a cannon.
Only 2 movies from the last 20 years on the list, which leads me to believe this is some middle-aged guy in his 40s or 50s who was in high school in the 80s, and these are the films he likes. And then 1 movie for Dad, or 2 with The Godfather and The Alamo. I mean, does it seem curious they're all from the 80s?
Well, Wayne LaPierre brought up American Psycho and Natural Born Killers. Both were from the 90s. I mean, apparently they stopped when VHS kind of came out of fad.
Yes.
They have not watched movies since.
I think you're exactly right. Were you guys surprised at the level of quality? There's a good amount of crap on this list.
I mean, the only really good movie is The Godfather, which is a horrible example for gun control. These are actual criminals. The actual description of why that movie was included is insane. It's all about the allure of having power through guns. He was it's a criminal empire. What argument are you making?
Well, but in fairness, there are good. Matrix is a good movie. Road Warrior is a good movie.
Yeah.
But 4 of these films, if you count Terminator, 4 of these films are about post-apocalyptic landscapes where human civilization has been wiped out. I mean,
by the
these
way,
are guys with a grasp on reality.
If the Matrix was real and bullets went in slow motion, then gun control is not as much of an issue. If you can dodge a bullet like that, then we don't even need to have this discussion.
Whoa.
I was shocked they had the Delta Force. If you're going to go 80s, go Rambo over Delta Force. What are you doing?
Stallone completely underrepresented on this list of dumb 80s action films.
That is true.
I was shocked as well. If you guys could add 1 movie to their list, a cool gun movie, what would it be? Janine?
I would go with Pink Flamingo by John Waters, because what's better than a drag queen with a gun?
That's
You
very
can't
true.
top that. Yeah.
I was going to say in honor of the fact that they killed the gun control legislation, just kill Bill.
Yeah, exactly. They killed the Bill.
I was going for Kill Bill too.
Well, that Kill Bill 2 is a completely different
There you
film.
go.
Yeah, I'd have to say Unforgiven, because Eastwood is pretty underrepresented, and that is the most violent, anti-violent film I've ever seen.
Wow, that's a huge omission to not have Eastwood there.
No Eastwood, and he's the most prominent living Republican gun guy.
And no Charlton Heston. They didn't even represent their own former
No
president.
Heston. That's true. Planet of the Apes, that's a great gun movie. Those are crude rifles, and it doesn't have the huge magazine capacity that Neo had killing all those cops in The Matrix, because how patriotic is that? All right, switching topics. I've got a real scandal for our Republican friends, if they actually want one, and that's going to come up along with the panel right after the break. Welcome back. One last thing on the NRA 10 coolest gun movies. It's all got links to buy guns, and that's the one thing the NRA is devoted to, helping gun manufacturers make more money. Any disputes on that?
No.
Yeah, and they're good at it. Okay, one last question for the panel. We're talking all about all the scandals in Benghazi and IRS and AP. What's an issue of actual import that our Republican friends should be seizing on for political gain? Tina?
Well, I'm a romantic, so I think they should go back to the ideas that they've abandoned, like cap and trade and Obamacare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Harrison?
I think gay marriage. I think, you know, they're against abortion. What group doesn't use abortion at all? Gays. That's perfect. They're against premarital sex. If you make marriage legal, then maybe they don't have to have it. Mm-hmm. You know, they want us to. You know, they want to butt out of all of our private lives, pun intended. And I think they should get behind it, pun intended again.
I agree. I don't know why the GOP doesn't support gay marriage. Because if you don't want gay people to be happy. And Janine?
Oh, really?
I think the environment and alternative energy, once they crack it, it's a huge moneymaker and job creator, which is right up their alley. What are they doing?
Exactly right.